Hello there everyone, and welcome back to the next video for the Clone Wars mock update. Today's episode we work on the security checkpoint that I mentioned in a previous episode. You can see one of the buildings behind all these clone troopers right there. That's a new building. So I work on that, and then I also work on a gate design as an entry to the village portion of this build. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll get right on into it. Also did a little bit more work on the terrain. I did decide to extend it to one more 16 by 16 plate. And now I'll add the trenches. I know last time I said what I had was done and I was going to move on to the trenches part, but I did decide to add one more 16 by 16 plate. I thought it would look good to add one more and then do the trenches right after that. So terrain's not finished in this area. As you can see, there's a lot of empty space right there, but there's a few spots like where that clone trooper is taking cover behind down over there. That looks pretty cool, but there's still some gaps in between here that need to be filled in. And then this is showed this last episode. Thought it was pretty cool. I've still got it up. But yeah, terrain's looking pretty good. And the next step, terrain pretty much is on hold for now because I have to start on the trenches for the next thing, which is going to be a big undertaking. So definitely excited for that. I just wanted to show this off real quick because I was building and looking at some different angles, and I looked up and saw this lonely clone trooper facing down the mountain all by himself trying to charge up the main road, shooting up at the droid. So I thought it was just a cool shot to get some scale going on in the build. And yeah, that's one of the bigger, one of the cooler things is once all the figures are set up, you kind of get to see the scale of everything, which makes it feel a little bit more realistic, and I don't know, just adds to a lot of it. So I thought this was a cool shot with the lone clone trooper charging up towards the mountain. He's probably not going to make it, but I thought it would just be cool to show anyways. Okay guys, so I'm over here at the front of the village entrance, and this is the little watchtower that I've shown in previous episodes, and there will be another watchtower down over on that end eventually, but I kind of mentioned that I wanted to make this almost like a security checkpoint. I started messing around with some pieces. Sometimes I'll just sit and grab a bunch of random pieces and just kind of see all the different ways you can put them together and make interesting stuff. So I was doing that, and I came up with kind of a cool little like fence, kind of like blockade technique there. You can kind of see what I'm going for right now. And I don't know, I kind of like it. And I just made two of them real quick as almost like they're gates. So they have to kind of be open to get into the security, or to get into the, they have to be opened to get into the village section of this build. So, and then these little gates will be able to like swing open when someone goes by to open up. So eventually there will be a watchtower that connects to this fence right here, just like this watchtower over here connects to that fence right there. And then it kind of looks like a little security checkpoint. So I think that's pretty cool. Here's what it looks like from kind of an up top view. You can see like how I might set up a few like troopers right here as if they're like guarding the entrance to the village, or since there's a battle going on, they'll be like taking cover behind the gates right there. And then you got the two watchtowers as well. So I think this will be a nice little addition to the mock, just a nice little detail. I think the fence looks pretty clean. You can see there's a nice little open space right down the middle. It's so small that like no other bricks or pieces or anything will really fit in that little gap. So I think it looks kind of nice, all tiled off, and it's a nice little fence. So I don't know if I'll connect the two or leave it open, but right now they're just kind of static in place, but I can add a little feature that makes it so they can swing open. So I might do that just to have it, a little bit more dynamic and some play function to the build, I guess, where you can kind of open up the gate and let people into the village. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool so far. And not a super complex technique or anything like that, but I think it gets the job done. Okay guys, so we're back at the security checkpoint onto the village, and I did a little bit more work. I have shown this before, the gate, in some previous segments, so it's looking pretty good. I've got some 41st troopers now lined up there. And then over here on this side, I started to lay down the foundation for the other watchtower. It's going to be a very similar design to this watchtower. It'll be very similar. Don't know if it'll be as destroyed though. It might be a little more structurally sound and not like with a big hole in the middle of it, so that should be fun. And then also been working on the terrain around the path here as well. So everything is kind of coming together pretty good so far. I think this section is going to be pretty cool once I get it finished, and I'll probably set up a bunch, maybe a few more figures to kind of give you a sense of what it might look like with the finished mock with all the figures set up. So I'm gonna keep working on this checkpoint, but it's coming along pretty good. Okay guys, so I've been working on the second watchtower here. This one over here is supposed to be more destroyed and kind of more of a ruined structure. This one's a little bit more intact. You can see there a little bit like a destroyed battle hole that's in there. It kind of like got, you know, a piece of, I don't know, like a wrist rocket or something hit it and kind of just create a little bit of a crack in there. And then up top we've got our clone trooper. This building's not done yet, but I just wanted to show you guys what I've got so far. Here's another look at that kind of that hole in the structure right there. Then you can see I've started to do some interesting stuff up top here with kind of like the kind of like a guardrail, you know, like a watchtowers, they kind of have the stuff up top where you kind of can walk around on top, and then you can like take cover behind certain things if you were to peek over. So that's kind of what I'm working on right here with these kind of interesting slope pieces for this watchtower. Over here you can see what I've kind of been doing with it. There you can see the slope, and it's attached by a 1x1 modified brick right there. So you can kind of see how those would attach onto the watchtower. And then this one on the far, like the closest here, and then the one on the other side are actually staggered a little bit higher. So it's like a stud higher, like half a stud higher. It's kind of hard to tell, but the two ends are higher than the slopes in the middle, so it gives off a kind of cool look to it. Now you can see what I mean by the staggered pattern here. The one on the right is a little bit higher than these middle slope pieces, and then I've got these two kind of other smaller slope pieces which are supported in the back there that kind of give it some different elevation. So I think it's coming along pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the building and give you guys an update. Okay, so as you can see, I went ahead and built the other sides with the same exact technique that I used up on the front. So now all the sides are pretty much exact same except for the back. I have to now try to figure out what I'm going to do with that back portion. I kind of want to put like a ladder or something to just kind of show how, you know, the clones or anybody would get up there. So here's what we got for the watchtower. I think it'll need a little bit touching up here and there, that maybe by the end of the episode, but this is kind of what I wanted with the kind of don't really know what to call it, but just like the border around the top of the watchtower with all those different slope pieces. So now we got tower number 2 built, and then tower number 1 from earlier, and then this new checkpoint and everything like that. It's all kind of looking pretty good now, guys. So yeah, got the checkpoint. This is what I was kind of imagining, kind of a spot where if you were to come into the village, you'd have to go through this first section. So I think with this building, I might add, once the mock gets a little closer to being complete, I might add some destroyed elements down here or something like that, or maybe back there behind it, to kind of show that a portion of it had been blown off of the building, so it'd kind of fall off. So yeah, watchtower number 2 is maybe 85 to 90% done, so I'm pretty happy about it. Here's a closer look at what these sides now look like. They might need a little straightened up now that I'm actually looking at it, but as you can see, I kept with the idea of having the two slopes on the outside at a different height. So all the ones in the middle are the same elevation, and then the outer two ones are a little bit higher. So same with that back side over there, you can see same exact thing, and then same with the front. So I think that gives it kind of a interesting look now that all the sides match. So there's a little closer look at the slope pieces. And then lastly, here's one more look for you guys on this top part of the kind of outer portion of the watchtower. So I tiled off some parts of it to make it just a little bit cleaner, but here's what it looks like kind of from the clone trooper's position. So alright, so I thought I'd give a quick look at what the building looks like from some different angles. You can see actually I just recorded the intro to the video. Sometimes I record things out of order. Sometimes when I just have free time, I just record whatever segments I can. So here's the front of this little watchtower. You can see a clone has peeked out and started to shoot from this position where the wall has kind of been blown out. You can see there with the inverted slope and a couple of other pieces. Again, primarily this building is light gray, dark gray, and it's using all pretty basic pieces. Like, it's nothing too complicated, but I think this is the design that I'm wanting, like the feel of the village to look like, kind of like the Stalingrad feel, which is what I was wanting to go with for this village. So here's what the front of the building looks like. And then, of course, this poor clone trooper who is about to get executed unless someone can come and save him, who knows. But yeah, here's the front of the structure. Alright, so now that this kind of security checkpoint down here is starting to get completed, I thought I'd show you guys kind of what we're looking at for the mock here. you can kind of see that it's actually starting to come together. A lot of the MOC is getting close to being completed, and a lot more of the MOC is now filled in. So now you can kind of get a better sense of what the overall MOC is going to look like when it's finished. As you can see here, there's still a few 16 by 16 plates that need filled in. Those are going to be where the trenches are at, so all these 16 by 16 plates that don't have anything on them yet will be trenches, and then they'll also be filled in with terrain. And then we've got this back part, which is what we worked on in today's video. So the next steps really are going to be the trenches and then getting started on the buildings in the village, destroyed village over here. So really we're kind of getting done with a lot of the smaller stuff and starting to move on to the bigger things in the MOC that are a little bit more exciting for videos and updates and stuff like that. So excited to keep working, but I thought I'd show you guys how close we kind of are already getting done. It seems like there's still a lot left, and there is, but to kind of look back and see how much progress has been made on the MOC so far, I think is a pretty fun thing to do. So still a good amount of work to do, but the next steps will be the trenches and the destroyed village. So I am really excited about that, and I hope you guys are too. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, leave your feedback in the comments section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.